At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
Trophy brothers! We're Trophy brothers!
We're brothers and we have trophies because we're
Brothers!
Trophy brothers.
How many trophies we got, Trophy brothers?
We got four. How many you got, Trophy brothers?
We got four.
How many rings you got, brother?
One.
Okay.
Hey, Trophy brothers!
It's been fun a couple years, man. Appreciate you coming back.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Yo! What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome. Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. It's the first weekly live show, or the semi-daily show, as I kind of have tagged this, the 3-day-a-week shows, the semi-daily shows. It's the first one of 2022. Here we are, January 3rd. I know we did our January 1st post-game show, but yeah, this is the first for the week. How settling in nicely in 2022. All right. So this is going to be this will not be an hour-long show. This is going to be, we're going to try and keep this right at 30 minutes. Taking the kiddos to the Amazium, and we're going to grab lunch. So we're going to have to cut this show. It's only going to be about 30 minutes. So I got my eye on the timer. If I'm coming up on 30 minutes, someone let me know in live chat if I happen to, or if I'm over 30 minutes, someone let me know. We're going to prepare for Vanderbilt a little bit. This might be a little bit tougher matchup than some people realize, but I think a lot of SEC games are going to be this way, and you kind of feel like games that at the beginning of the year or coming, let's say, on that nice little win streak you had in non-conference play, all of a sudden every game now that looked winnable, that was like, yeah, I feel pretty good about that one, has now become 50-50, or maybe even what you feel like is a for sure loss with Razorback basketball. We're also doing, and this is our Discord question of the day. It's our first one of 2022. Who are your MVPs for the 2021 season? Who are your MVP? Special teams, defense, and offense. That was the Discord question of the day. Shout out to sponsors, of course, and Patreon supporters and everyone here that's live and watching after the fact. Please do me a favor. Like the stream. Like. Can't say that enough. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. If you want to become a Patreon member, guys, it's a minimum of $4 a month. We've had quite a bit of movement this month in Patreon. Really cool. Had people up their amount that they're paying. Holy crap. I'm really happy for that. I'm telling you, that's really cool. I'm just excited anybody wants to be a part of the Patreon. And I asked, hey, I can remember asking, let's get to like 15. And then we got to like 18. And then it was like, well, let's get to 20. And we went over 20. And now we're creeping up. I think we're creeping up, depending on how it lays out. I think we're coming up on like 25 Patreon supporters, which is amazing. I mean, I never thought, that I would get there at this point. Thought it would take me to like mid 2022. Speaking of sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. Need to repair or replace your garage door? Give these guys a call. You could check out their website in a link provided for you down below in the description box. Of course, they have their own Discord page. All of our sponsors will have their own Discord page. So if you're there and you need a little bit of assistance, why not hit these guys up? Again, that's the Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. So shout out to Travis Ford and the boys. And I think his wife helps him run things, so shout out to her as well, to the men and women at Garage Door Company. So, yeah, love it. What a year we had last year. Razorback football, when I said 8-4 at the beginning of the year before the season, my confidence in that was, I thought maybe about a 5. I thought, yeah, okay. I mean, the super seniors, and they weren't the most super senior team, but they were very much a team that had quite a few leaders on defense that were super seniors. Mo Brown, Grant Morgan. Fouché's been around a while, and we'll see if he's going to come back or not next year. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Of course, we're still waiting on Bumper Pool. I'm really hoping we hear something soon. The latest I've heard on Bumper Pool, this just comes from, I don't know, this was some message board thing that got sent to me in a text message. It sounds like he's weighing his options, and some people seem to be leaning that he could be returning. If he does return, Bumper Pool, I think, would quite easily be considered at least a second or third team all-conference linebacker when you talk about all the preseason magazines and preseason websites, all the big dogs. He would certainly be on my short list for one of the top returning linebackers. Not only that, but he would carry into 2022 a lot of momentum. Like, I think he'd make the radar for more NFL teams. And imagine too what he could do with this defense next year. And he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the old man on the defense, but that's a good thing. Like, you're going to be the leader, and the NFL takes a good hard look at that. This year, I would argue Grant Morgan was your leader on defense. Next year, it would be all him. I think he would be your captain of defense between him and Jalen Catalon. I'm trying to think who else maybe Fouché if he comes back. Simeon Blair's been around a while. Maybe Blair would be in that category. I believe Blair could come back. I think he's a redshirt junior this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we're gonna discuss all that, and we're gonna start with Vanderbilt. Let me start reading chat. I hope you had a really good weekend. Alex Henderson says Woo Pig Suey. He says Turner, Kendall Catalon in transfer portal. Okay, so yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought up transfer portal because hang on just a second. Loving you. Where's it at? I swear I had it pulled up here. Yeah, Nick Turner. Okay, so it had been rumored that Nick Turner was going to be in the portal. In fact, I think we talked about it in Discord. I want to say yesterday. I didn't know that Kendall Catalon was considering. So Nick Turner, former 3-star. Was he not an athlete out of high school? Why am I having a hard time remembering? Yeah, I think he was a DB or athlete. But anyways, he played kind of mixed it up here in the secondary. He's got 4 years of eligibility. He is in the portal. Kendall Catalon's a little bit surprising, but maybe not really when you think about, even though you're losing Burks, look at what's coming in. I mean, I'm sorry, Kendall Catalon, he couldn't make the 3 deep this year at any position. At least I don't think he did at any point this year. Maybe he did once or twice. There ain't no way he's going to next year. I mean, they're just loaded. And that's what's crazy is even though you have Burks this year, who's an All-American caliber receiver, arguably one of the greatest to ever put on the Razorback jersey, and yet for some reason I still feel pretty good about what's going on next year, even though you're losing that. Like, you're losing this All-American badass wide receiver, and we're not in the Bobby Petrino days of all these proven wideouts everywhere. And yet not only because of Hazelwood, but because of some of the guys coming back. You know, Warren Thompson, who didn't really have a great, let's just be honest, didn't have a great Outback Bowl. Really thought he would step up in that game, and he didn't. No one really did, if you want my honest opinion. And so we will be touching on that this year in this offseason, talking about what's going on at each position. Make no mistake about it, we're going to try and focus on that. And wide receiver was a spot this year that was, while Treylon Burks, big time, right? No doubt about that. Everyone behind him, what the hell was going on? Why was there not really a number 2 guy? But then you also have to consider you probably average about 20 to 22 attempts per game through the air. So it's not shocking that your number 2 and 3 receiver didn't have crazy good numbers. You look at Penn State, a team that liked to move the ball through the air quite a bit. They had guys that were loaded up in that category in receiving yards and receptions. So it's not crazy to think like, okay, but still, these guys had their opportunities. Tyson Morris and Warren Thompson. I would even argue Ketron Jackson, true freshman out of Texas, who I'm really high on. We didn't really see much this year, but he's a true freshman. We always give a pass, especially the true freshmen, on guys that are first-year starters. Got to give them a pass. But, yeah, so Kendall Catalon being in there, not shocking, but that came out of nowhere in terms of, like, I hadn't heard that. Nick Turner in there as well, so that's him, along with Darren Turner, who entered the portal on the 16th, Jermaine Hamilton-Jordan, JT Towers. These two kind of did surprise me. And Andy Boykin, all those guys back on the 15th, they all entered the portal. They don't have a destination yet. Vito Calvaruso is, I think, the only transfer or the only player right now in the portal that actually has declared his destination. And Vito Calvaruso, who was a great kickoff guy for the Hogs. He wants to go kick field goals, so he went to Wisconsin a little while back, like 2-3 weeks ago, I think, is when he announced where he was going. And then, of course, Solomon Wright, another kind of surprising, another guy with 4 years, multiple years of eligibility left, and Josh Oglesby, not surprising. It was a little surprising when he did it. He entered the portal back on the November 8th. He was your first Razorback. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. I think there's going to be more. I've been saying this for the last 3 weeks. You're going to have more. I do think there's probably going to be maybe a couple more players get into the portal. It's a possibility. Or so I was told. It's a strong possibility. And they're still looking in the portal to gain a player. Yes, they are. They're still actively in the portal. I haven't updated the portal. I don't know who you are, but it's not a scam call. I will call you back. I don't know who the targets are right now, but I was told they're actively looking at players in the portal. I don't think that's a surprise. That's not exactly breaking news to anybody. I will say this. There are question marks around what's going on with Rouser, okay? Rouser, you guys remember, 4-star safety out of Michigan, had, committable offers anywhere he wanted to go. Arguably the best defensive player in this class. While I don't agree that I think Odom has done a good job with the talent that he has. There's kind of a debate out there in the ethos, right? Out in the social medias, that Odom is not a very good recruiter. That his staff, they don't do a very good job recruiting. Here they got a guy. Rouser is big time. He'd be one of the best players on defense that you've signed, I would argue, maybe since Jalen Catalon. Big time safety, right? 4-star, committable offers out the wazoo, all those Big Ten schools just wanting him bad. I don't know what exactly the deal is. I'd heard it's academics. At first, we were being told there might be some sort of other off-the-field thing going on. I don't go into the speculations because if I don't know that it's true, we're not even going to entertain that stuff. But academics, possibility, right? And I think that's probably what's going on. The rumor was, or the belief was, that he's going to sign in February. I'm not feeling too confident about that based on some news that I got this morning that was texted to me. Not feeling too good about him signing in February. If you want my honest opinion, that's a pretty big blow to that spot. And I know you got Catalon coming back. I know there's a possibility. I believe Fouché has an opportunity to come back. I realize you feel pretty good. Slusher was outstanding, in my opinion. He was outstanding. I mean, the guy got moved around 100 different times. That's obviously a bit of an over-exaggeration, but he got moved around quite a bit. And then they finally stuck him back at his natural safety spot, and he, as the year went on, he got better and better. I would still argue deep looks downfield kind of he got beat two, 3 times. But you feel good about that, but you have to look at beyond next year, and obviously Rouser was someone who maybe he is your next Catalon or next Slusher or next Fouché, whatever. Well, those all 3 aren't the same type of safety. I get it, but you're talking about that kind of talent on the back end of your secondary. And I don't know that behind those guys, again, this is usually what separates the Arkansas from the Bamas, from the Georgias. It's like, okay, well, you're going to lose those guys. And look, I think there is a possibility, by the way. This is how big I am on Slusher. Yeah, I think there's a possibility if Fouché leaves and things happen the way they should, Slusher could be an NFL guy next year. I absolutely think that's in the cards for him. And I'm not saying that he's going to be an all-pro or an all-American next year, but he very well could be someone that makes the short list and maybe bugs out. That's a possibility for him. So now what? Going into 2023, I don't know that you feel that great behind those guys. It's not exactly the linebacker depth issue that you're concerned about, but it's up there. Especially, we have to consider something. They like to run 3 safeties in this defense quite a bit. They love a heavy DB unit on the field, and they'll play those 3 safeties. The 3 safety look is something they did quite a bit in 2021. Didn't really see – you saw it a little bit in 2020, but 2021, it was clearly something that Odom really liked. And, it's meant to keep everything in front of you, prevent big plays. So, yeah, Rouser, in my opinion, was a must-get in this class, and it doesn't look good. Could change. It could. Anything could happen. But as of today, January 3rd, I would lean heavily. He's not going to be on campus. Now, does that mean he's going to commit elsewhere? I don't know. Is it a similar situation to what Tykees Crawford? You guys remember that? Crawford didn't have the grades or whatever, didn't have the eligibility. He went to Charlotte. Is it something like that? Maybe. That could be something. Maybe he goes to Charlotte and then he comes back and recommits and signs with the Hogs. But he was someone I think you needed here. And I think, too, he was an early enrollee. He could have been here. At least that would have been an option on the table. Now, if he's having academic issues, yeah, it probably wasn't in the cards for him. But it was something I believe his school would have allowed him to do. So, yeah, a lot of news there. Portal was a little bit surprising. I didn't know about Catalon. We'd known about Nick Turner, though. That was kind of a rumor that was floating around for a while. The portal give it, the portal take it away, Marcus Murdoch says. Do we have any idea who the quarterback will be from the portal at the moment? No. There were a couple of names tossed around. I wish I remember who they were. I'm sorry, I don't remember who. I thought I had seen a couple names. I do think Sam Pittman did say that it was likely that they reach into the portal. That it was likely that they get into the portal for a quarterback. Or he'd kind of alluded if they had the room that they would go after a quarterback. I heard Michigan and Harbaugh are going after him heavily. Yeah, I'd heard that too. Maybe that is what's going on. Maybe he just doesn't want to sign with Arkansas. He wants to go to one of the Michigan schools. Penn State fans calling Archie Bunker was funny. I don't know. Tony says, I see Miami fans talking about Kendall Briles. I got here late. Not sure if you brought it up. But I've heard it has become a real possibility. Sad that some fans are kicking him out the door. I mean, at the moment, Tony, I don't know, man. That gets brought up a lot here. I have no idea if it's real or not. I do know it had been said that Miami writers had felt pretty confident that he would end up at Miami, but I haven't actually read those articles, so maybe it's happening, maybe it's not until it does or until I hear something that's concrete. I just don't know. That was the first Arkansas win against the Big Ten team in a bowl. Yeah, you lost to obviously you lost to Ohio State in the Sugar. You lost to Minnesota, lost to Wisconsin. And I'm sure there's some older bowl games I can't think of. Yeah, I think that's correct. I think it was their first. Bumper came up and smoked that quarterback. It was beautiful. This is J.R. Shelton. Do me a favor, guys. Share. We're coming up on 23 minutes, so let's talk about Vanderbilt really quick, and then we'll go into our MVPs. Into the let me know. All right, let me know real quick. Where'd it go? Where's my Monday show page? There it is. Oh, also Mo Brown. You guys probably, I mean, this is old news, but it happened Saturday, I believe. Mo Brown declares for the NFL draft, and Traylon Smith will not be returning in 2022. I don't know what Traylon's doing. I'd have a hard time seeing him go pro, but anything's possible. Razorback basketball prepares for Vandy on Tuesday night, 7:30 on SEC Network. Vandy currently 8-4, leading scorer, actually the leading scorer in the league now. Scottie Pippen Jr. is averaging over 18 points. He's shooting roughly 43% from the floor and almost 71% at the free throw line. Vanderbilt is the 13th overall scoring team in the conference, averaging just around 69 points per game. They average about the fourth most three-point shots per game in the conference. Yeah, something to keep an eye on. They average about 8 threes made per game, but overall they're still only shooting sub 30%. All right, this is not an elite three-point shooting team. I would argue 29% is like below average now. It's the average these days. The three-point game, it's become the biggest part of some of these guard-heavy teams. They go real deep at the guard position, and it's all about who can knock down the most threes anymore. And it seems like driving the lane and earning points has just become a rarity, or, just getting some easy points down the bucket or down in the paint, getting posting up a little bit more, trying to find a way to score inside. That part of the game just seems to be I'm not saying it's rare, but it's just not as common as it once was. But Vanderbilt's one of those teams. They're going to try and jack up some threes. So, yeah, they're shooting 29% outside. Vandy's highest-rated rebounder is Jordan Wright, who's getting about 6 rebounds per game. I like this matchup, taking Arkansas Tuesday night. I don't know by how much. Another question is, can they hold Vanderbilt under 69 points? We know Arkansas getting J.D. Notae back. I feel pretty good. I feel like this is one of those that maybe you feel a little bit better moving forward, but it is Vanderbilt. Again, they're 8-4. They're not exactly elite. All right, Razorback season MVPs. All right, I asked Discord, who are your season MVPs? This is going to take me a minute here. So on offense, long shot says KJ. Defense, he says Morgan. Special teams, Little. Overall, KJ. A rubber band man says Treylon Burks on offense, Mo Brown on defense, Reed Bauer on special teams, KJ overall. I love that take. Reed Bauer on special teams. That's a little bit different. Austin BF 7025 says Burks on offense, linebacker trio on defense. That's not fair. Austin, I want one, not all three, but they all three had over 100 tackles, including Hayden Henry. What a year for the linebackers. And then special teams, he has Little. Overall, KJ. Bragoon says offense, KJ. Defense, Mo Brown. Special teams, Little. Overall, Burks. Turkey Twister says offense, Burks. Defense, Mo Brown. Special teams, Little. Overall, Bumper Pull. Big man, Ross. KJ, Mo Brown, Little. And then overall, Sam Pittman says big man Ross, trying to be different out here in these streets. Joe Venable, again, with another Pittman pick. I mean, I understand that, but I would like a player, guys. Joe Venable says KJ, Bumper, Cam, and then overall Pittman, Yudwa, all you guys in these Pittman picks. I get it. If we want to talk about the coach, the coach of the year, we could have that discussion. And he wouldn't win that, by the way. I'm sorry, he just wouldn't. I love the job that he did, but he would not. He's not going to win SEC Coach of the Year. It's just not going to happen. But Joe Venable says KJ, Bumper, Cam, and Pittman. Yudwa says the same, except Burks, Brown, and Little with Pittman. And Randall Cade says KJ, Brown, Cam Little, and KJ Jefferson. Yeah, I know. I'm not supposed to talk bad about Sam. That's not my opinion. That's just I don't think he gets it. Just showing support for the show. Hey, I appreciate that, goalie. Elvin goalie. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So let me start off by saying I like that linebacker trio pick because there is some truth in that, right? And there's truth in picking Pittman. I get it. I'm asking for a player, but I get it. I get the pick. Sam Pittman did an incredible job this year. You can't help but want to give him just tons of love, man. I mean, especially with the disrespect that Arkansas had coming into the year, whether it was the ESPN Football RPI. I think they picked Arkansas like 6-6. I think at the beginning of the year, maybe 7-5, which is that's not bad, but I still felt like that was low. And again, I said no. I think they're going to win 8. I like KJ, although I still thought Malik Hornsby would eventually. I thought KJ might be on kind of a short leash at the quarterback spot, and they'd bring in probably experiment a little bit with Hornsby, which they did do. But KJ clearly head and shoulders above everybody at that spot. I love Burks. I liked what the offensive line, although they gave up a lot of sacks this year, more than I thought they would. Their run blocking was incredible this year. I mean, they opened up gaps for these backs, and it allowed them to kind of use the change of pace, running back by committee. It didn't seem to matter who ran the ball. Everyone had success, including KJ. I'm really excited about what's going on the offensive line. I got to say, next year, that's a huge piece of what's coming back. That's huge. Myron Cunningham had his first bad game, by the way, in the Outback Bowl. I saw him get beat 2 or 3 times. And, of course, one of those wound up to be a sack. Marcus Murdoch says not to be outdone by Elvin. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. That's awesome. But, yeah, I really, really proud of what they accomplished in 2021. Clearly, Sam Pittman did an incredible job. I'm going to say this. So, special teams, yeah, I'm going Cam Little, right? I mean, how can you not? 100% on field goals. We're coming up on 30 minutes. Of course, we're going to go a little bit over. And I already got a DM. Ty, you're coming up on 30. I'm working on it. Cam Little goes perfect, extra points, right? And I know that's, okay, whatever. 46 attempts, too. That's not exactly a lot, and it's not. That's probably below average, I believe. He was 20 of 24 kicking 3-pointers, kicking the field goals, putting him at 83%. He was 7 for 7, 20 to 29, 6 for 7 at 30 for 39, 6 for 7 at 40 to 49. This is a true freshman. Cam Little, 18, 19 years old, looks like he's a lot younger, but 6 for 7. He only had one 50-yarder, 1 for 3, but that's still impressive with that 50-yarder being his longest, obviously, at 51 yards. Grand total at 106 points. My defensive MVP, this one was actually harder than I thought it would be. I know we want to award stats, right? Bumper getting 125 tackles, Grant Morgan with 101, Hayden Henry. And again, I like that taking the linebacker core because there's some truth to that. Those guys were big. I think, too, the way his defenses, the way Barry Odom molds his defenses, this is back-to-back years where linebackers outshined everybody. I think that's by design, and it's good that you have guys. It's one thing to have that by design and something else entirely to actually have it take place on the field, and that's what happened in 2020 and 2021. Bumper Pool does get my defensive MVP, 125 tackles, 2 pass breakups on the year. His pursuit, the angles he takes on quarterbacks, he over-pursues quarterbacks a lot. That's something if he does come back, and I have a feeling the NFL, if he is interested in going to the combine or getting drafted, that's probably going to be something they talk to him about. How do you feel like you did chasing down quarterbacks? You feel like you maybe over-pursued a little bit. He probably missed like 4 sacks this year, maybe more. I mean, he's got that's an area where it's like, all right, hold up. You're great. We love you, Bumper baby. We love you. But there's just one thing, right? That's what we do. We highlight the good stuff, and we also highlight the things you need to work on. Grant Morgan has got to be in that category. He was close number 2. Hayden Henry was close number, like almost tied with Grant. Mo Brown, Catalon, when he was healthy, was incredible. Slusher really filled in the role nicely. John Ridgway, although he ended up with only 2 sacks, I don't know how many TFLs he actually had on the year, but was a pretty good, manned up across the center, did well, played the position well. He is in that category, right? Gregory Brooks quietly had a good year. But I give it to Bumper Pool. Offensive MVP was also difficult because Burks versus KJ for me. KJ Jefferson, you just can't not give it to him, right? These numbers are ridiculous. He throws 67% pass completion ratio, almost 2,700 yards, 21 passing touchdowns, 4 picks, while being sacked almost 27 times. His rating at the end of the year, 164.7. Oh, and he's your leading rusher. 146 carries for 664 yards with 6 rushing touchdowns. This man had 27 total touchdowns, which isn't, look, that's nothing to be like, oh my God, he should be an All-American because of his touchdown numbers. No, but that's still pretty damn good. I felt like, and we saw him do it earlier in the year, like games when Burks wasn't real active. He kind of got off to a slow start. You saw where KJ put this team on his shoulders time and time again. And, of course, it helps when you throw in a good heavy dose of Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks was spectacular this year. And, again, this for me, it's going beyond the numbers. It's like, what do they mean to that side of the ball? And Treylon Burks, 66 catches, 1,100 yards, averaged almost 17 yards per reception and 11 touchdowns. No doubt in my mind he would have had a major influence on the Outback Bowl. I was – look, he's going to go down as arguably the greatest receiver to ever play. And I know people want to throw, what about Lance Allworth? Okay, look, I never watched Lance Allworth. Lance Allworth was a time when my grandpa Hudson was watching. He didn't – shocking fact, he wasn't exactly a huge college football fan, but he did watch the Razorbacks. Our family was all about baseball. St. Louis Cardinals. It's like all they were obsessed with because they were on the radio. And you got to remember, this is way back in the day, right, when Lance Allworth played. You could throw some other names out there. But Lance Allworth, yes. Marcus Monk is someone that should be in that category. I know there's some heat on Marcus Monk in the last several years because of his brother. But regardless, what he did on the field and what he meant to that offense during those days, he was important. Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, Greg Childs, those are other great receivers. Kobe Hamilton, who actually holds some records at Arkansas. You can just go on and on and on. Keon Hatcher was really good. Morgan. I could just go down this list. 2000s have actually been pretty kind. Anthony Lucas. How can you forget about Anthony Lucas, right? But Treylon Burks is better than all of them. I think and I meant it. My last podcast I ever did on the Pig Trail Pod, in fact, I believe was called Freak of Nature, and it was about Treylon Burks. Really hard for me to not put him at the MVP. Didn't give it to him on offense, and I'm not going to give it to him overall. Again, it goes to KJ. My overall Razorback 2021 MVP is KJ. Without KJ, there is no 9-4. Now, without Burks, you can make the argument the same, right? You could say the exact same thing. Like, how far do they go without Burks? We know just how detrimental both these guys were to this offense, but for me, I think it's KJ, right? And of course, quarterback outweighs the wide receiver position in terms of importance. But when you consider how weak they were at wide receiver behind him, I mean that statistically. And also, I don't know that I don't know the talent level this year really ever hit its peak behind Burks. And that's a little troubling. Something they're going to have to get figured out this year in the offseason. How do we replace that kind of production that we're losing out of number 16, Treylon Burks? So, yeah, KJ is going to be my overall MVP. He's my offensive MVP. Bumper Pool, my defensive MVP. Cam Little, my special teams. Nothing shocking about that. 2021 was an amazing year. Really proud of the Razorbacks. There's no doubt Arkansas outperformed, proved a lot of people wrong. Sam Pittman, who wants that money now, his agent, and Sam, that's the next thing we got to get figured out. What's going on with the coordinators? Is there truth to Kendall Briles going to Miami? If so, are you upset over that? Does Kenny Loggins, if that happens, if Coach Loggins takes that spot, does he is he going to take that spot? Is the tight end coach going to be your next OC, a guy who coached who's an offense coordinator in the NFL for, I believe, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bears? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you feel comfortable if that happens? Is that the next step? What about Barry Odom? I feel like if someone were to tag Barry Odom by now, we would already. I feel pretty. Knock on wood. I feel pretty good that he comes back, and then. Kendall, does he leave? What kind of departures? Who else hits the portal? Who do they grab out of the portal? A lot of questions, and we're going to cover all that here on the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. We're going to be on top of it. And if there's any breaking news, if I'm able, I'll go live. If there's some huge news, I've done it before, and I'll do it again. So, yeah. If KJ gets the clock in his head adjusted just a little bit, that's all he needs. I'm not sure what you mean. There were a decent amount of sacks that he probably could have. Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's true. There were some times this year where he was definitely at fault, where he held onto the ball, or he kind of, and that's typical of a lot of quarterbacks. Yeah, that's something he needs to work on. But you could probably say that about 90% of the field, the quarterbacks, in not just the SEC but in college football. I think overall he was fantastic. Maybe that's something he should work on. Yeah, I mean, I want to see elements of the passing game progress this year, and that's going to be difficult to do without someone like Treylon Burks, but who knows? Yo, what's up, Ty? What's up, Truth Soldier? How you doing? Ty is the MVP of Arkansas Sports. Oh, thank you. Of Arkansas Sports Media. I say you should take over that evening spot. No offense to those two guys, but you're far better by yourself. Get rid of them two and keep DQ. I appreciate that, man. Thanks, John. I really do appreciate the kind words. Agree. Burks is Arkansas number one wide receiver of all time, and I'm old. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I think in my era, since I've been alive, I don't know if they've ever had anyone of that talent level. We'll see what he does in the NFL. I mean, if he's taken by the right team and the right offense under the right circumstances with a quarterback who could at least throw the ball a little bit, he could have a fantastic career. And remember, sometimes that's all it takes, right? Getting at the right time, getting on the right team at the right time. Getting drafted by the Jets. I don't know how I'd feel about that, right? For his future. Look at Darren McFadden. I feel like had he gone anywhere but the Raiders, and I realize he had to deal with injuries, but had he gone anywhere but the Raiders, you felt like he would have had a much better career. Trey Biddy is Ty definitely coming on strong. Oh, well, thank you. I think. Thank you. Yeah, get the likes up. I would appreciate that. Bearing something catastrophic, I am very excited to watch what Burks can do in the NFL for a long time. I'm excited too. I would love if the Rams were in position. They're not in position. They don't need a wide receiver. They're stacked. They won't get OBJ. Did you guys watch? Listen, I hate to toot the Ram horn for a second, but did you watch that Baltimore game, that final drive? OBJ coming through clutch. Oh, man, it was a thing of beauty. And then Von Miller with the sack to put Baltimore to basically end their game, really. That was a great game. Please go to the Saints. There's a lot of teams who would like his services. So, yeah. Ty and Trey are the best in the biz. Thanks, Tyler Edmondson. I appreciate that, man. All right, we should have an update on Patreon supporters this week, so I'll have that list updated. I'm assuming we should know by the end of the week the Patreon list. We'll get that all settled and update those names. We've got a few names to add. If you want to join, if you want to join the PT and Patreon, $4 a month. There's a link down below. Consider it. It goes towards helping out the channel. Couldn't watch the Rams game because of the stupid Washington football team. It was a hell of a game. That was actually an entertaining game. I wasn't going to be mad if the Rams lost. It was a good game. Baltimore didn't have Lamar. I think had they had Lamar, they probably win. When will we get a Ty and Trey stream? That would be fun as hell. I really would, because I respect Trey Biddy. Trey is damn good at what he does. His walk and talks are some of the best content. I think between that, the Hogs Plus content, which is great, is some of the best Razorback content out there, and it's free. I mean, Trey Biddy's walk and talk is free. Ty is definitely on his stuff. That would be dope. Yeah, I would entertain that idea for sure, 110%. But he's rocking and rolling with Hog Sports. him and Danny West, who I like both. And the guys over at Hogbeat are doing good too. Hutch and those guys, they're all doing good. There's some good content on YouTube. The radio. Cough. All right, Woo Pig. I'll see you guys Wednesday. We'll probably have we'll talk more about this Vanderbilt, the aftermath of the Vanderbilt game. I'm thinking we're going to have maybe some transfer portal news by then and some other Razorback football. We're going to try and get caught up on Razorback recruiting for the 2023 class this week as well. We're going to start touching on that some, and then we're getting closer and closer, getting ready and more and more ready for spring ball. That'll be here before you know it. So yeah. All right. Woo Pig. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Might be another short stream. I'm not sure. But I'll see you regardless. 11 o'clock. Woo Pig. Go Hogs.